Today's guest is someone who's very interesting and reminds me of myself a little bit. Entrepreneur slash podcaster Scott Clary. What got me interested in Scott was the guests he had on his podcast, from Patrick Bet-David to Ryan Serhant. Instead of chasing attention, he chased mastery. Instead of staying quiet, he chose to document the journey. If this podcast provides you value, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Thank you so much.
These are all cliches, but they're true. Like, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, some of us, the 5 people we spend the most time with are the people we consume on our phones. So you got to be careful about what influence you're letting into your life. I also don't believe that anybody's that special. I think that's like I have a few like core key beliefs. One of them is no one's that special, and if somebody else has done it, I can do it. But I think that my career and even like my content and my connections and just life, it's just gotten way better.
Yeah.
Just because I'm just not an asshole.
Look at me, habibi. Dubai Jeep, let's get it. Look at me, habibi. Dubai Jeep, let's get it. Bags, expensive.
Don't touch me. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. No, I have to back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your favorite podcast, Rockstars podcast. Of course, here in Miami, Florida, my hometown, visiting. Many of you have seen the gentleman in front of me. I discovered him years ago on YouTube. That I started following him on Instagram. A lot of similar stories we have. Law school plans, changing entrepreneurship. While making another company, you'll start doing a podcast that blows up, have amazing guests. In front of me, have my friend Scott. Scott, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you, dude, for having me on. I
Dude.
appreciate you for coming down here and taking me a trip to Miami.
I appreciate it, man. Like I said to you, my home. Few things, notes to start off with. You're a humble dude. A lot of people in your space would not even respond back to a DM. You're nice enough to just respond back and say, "Hey, man, shoot me your stuff. We'll chat and we'll see what happened."
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. Number one.
I mean, I think that's. Someone asked me this the other day. Someone did like another podcast. Like, why'd you say yes to this? I'm like, because first of all, that's how you make great relationships, great connections. And also, I just like, I would want somebody to say yes to me.
Yeah.
So I know we all have like limited hours in a day, but like if I can do it,
No,
I'll do it.
you've been very nice.
But by the way, this has been like how my life has worked out.
Right.
Like I say yes to as much shit as possible.
Okay.
Sometimes I say yes to too much shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's like a season where you're supposed to say no at some point. But I think that my career and even like my content and my connections and just life, it's just gotten way better.
Yeah.
Just because I'm just not an asshole. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, if you're just not an asshole and you're nice to people and you want to work with people, and if somebody else is trying to build the same thing that you've already built, for example, you're building a podcast, like, I don't know, you give an hour and a half of your day, who cares?
I appreciate that. Very kind of you. You're not from Miami. Most people from Miami are not that nice.
I'm not a transaction person.
Yeah, that's Miami.
And I think that, you know why? I think because all of the best connections in my life have not been from a transaction. They've been from just, there's nothing that we can give each other right now, but we want to connect. And in 10 years from now, who the fuck knows what's going to happen?
Sure.
But if you never say yes, or if you ever think you're too big or you're too cool, you're too popular, you are going to silo yourself, and you won't be exposed to great people who at some point you can work with or collaborate with or whatever. And I also look at the people that have truly accomplished amazing things, and I take a lesson from them as well. So the people that have sold companies for incredible amounts of money and been incredibly successful entrepreneurs, of course they're busy, but they also find a way to make themselves available at some point.
You're right.
They
That's
will.
so true.
If you genuinely ask somebody, like, I have friends who sold companies for hundreds of millions of dollars, like very, very successful, the 0.001%. And yeah, it may not be like I can give you 8 hours of my time tomorrow, but if you genuinely ask to sit down with them, they'll find some time for you. If you make a concerted effort, they'll find some time.
I mean, also, Scott, I think they.
I also don't want to be an asshole.
That's
There's a lot of assholes.
Right.
There's a lot of assholes, and I don't want to be contributing to that population.
But I think being an asshole is a bit of a fad. I think it's kind of fashion, isn't it? Don't you think?
Well, I think some cities are more transactional than others. I think that what you're talking about in Miami is a lot of people that are like, what can I get out of you? What can you get out of me? I don't know. That's not a, I just don't, it's not a fun way to
But
go
it's
through
also
life.
kind of a flex too. Like leave your DMs unread and down say, hey, no, thank you. Let's leave it alone. Like it's kind of like to show you like I'm, my thing is bigger than your type of thing.
Yeah.
You're not my level.
But truly successful people don't do that, is what I'm saying.
You're right.
Truly successful people.
And Billy made it.
So fake successful people, they're trying to signal that they're cool. Maybe they do that.
Oh, wow. That's powerful.
I
agree with you about.
Okay, don't get me wrong. You know how I'm getting an interview with Gary Vee that I'm doing in February? I DM'd Gary Vee. Just directly. And he read it and he said, that sounds cool. Go talk to Zach. Zach's this guy who organizes all of his PR and his media. I mean, that's it. So he runs a $300 million plus marketing agency. He has, I don't even know how many followers across all of his social. The guy's a workhorse, okay?
Gary Vee is
How I got Ryan Serhant on the show is I DM'd Ryan Serhant.
directly.
Just directly. Just in his DMs on Instagram. And he said, yeah, let's do it.
You can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, if the busiest people on earth,
You can find them.
they respond, then what's this no name from Miami who's trying to flex like his Lambo or his fake watch? I look at people who I want to emulate, who I look up to, people who have built things that I would love to build, people who act the way that I'm like, you act with compassion and empathy and caring, and you want to help somebody who's on their way up. Those are the people I want to emulate.
I love that. But Scott, also, I think those people that say yes to you, say yes to me, like yourself, you said yes to me. You saw something, and some filthy saw something from you. You have built a name, your reputation. You can go on the different website. You can find out his scam. They have a website called, I forgot, a Ballbuster or something. Ballbusters, yeah. These entrepreneurs that that we look up to. I think it's entrepreneur. You kind of segment into the topic. These entrepreneur influencers are new rock stars of today's come, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
Gary, KVD, Patrick Bet-David,
Yeah.
Wes Watson, Andy Elliott. Some may say they're questionable, but they do also.
Well, I mean, like, not everybody's personality is for everyone.
No.
Like Wes Watson is not somebody that I look up to, but a lot of people do. He has his own fandom and he has his own demographic, and he built a massive audience and he creates a shit ton of content and he works. I'm not
or myself
looking at Wes Watson's content and being like, I want to shave my head, get a tattoo, and do push-ups in his backyard like everybody else that worked with him. But there's people that look up to him. And actually, to be quite honest, I think a lot of people like look up to his story of like coming out of prison and building a business. If he's not scamming people, then I don't hate him.
wrong with that.
If he's scamming people, he's a piece of shit. I don't know. I don't know enough about Wes Watson. But to your point, yes, you gotta find the person who you look up to. You gotta find the person whose values and morals and worldview you sort of like echo and want to live. And I think that's why you have these like rock stars. I like that idea a lot. Like these new influencers are rock stars, but you got to be careful. You got to make sure that you're listening to the right ones. You got to make sure that you're listening to ones who are living a life that you'd want to live.
Yeah.
Like that's really important. If you I don't think it's smart to put people on a pedestal, but I know people do. And if you do put someone on a pedestal, make sure they're influencing you in a way that you want to be influenced. I think that's very important. But that's not just with, by the way, social media rock stars, right? These are all cliches, but they're true. Like you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, some of us, the 5 people we spend the most time with are the people we consume on our phones. So you got to be careful about what influence you're letting into your life. But the same goes for all of our life, right? Like if I want to have a better marriage, I don't mind having some single friends, but it's probably better if I spend my weekends with other couples that are in healthy marriages and not with my good but very single friends at Live buying tables on like a Saturday. like if you want a certain life, you should be around people that are going to help you live that life. I think that's very important. If you want to lose weight, if you want to look good in the gym, go hang around people that are fit. If you want to go build a business, go hang around other entrepreneurs. It's not rocket science. It's not, because you're going to hold each other to a higher standard, right? And you will be influenced. Everybody's influenced all the time. So you just have to be careful to filter your inputs.
You're right. That's very true. Um,
Anyway, I hijacked your Wes Watson.
You're
so
fine.
Influencers are rock stars of our time. I agree.
I think so. Look, I've been to the vault. I was, I'm still, I do follow Patrick Bedard very closely.
Yeah.
He's a believer of God. He married man. He has kids. He respects his father very much. He's a values I attend to.
Yeah.
You know, Vic Tippiness, another entrepreneur. You know, married man, kids, built a company, good to his company. What I can see, I met the gentleman through time. So these entrepreneurs, you know, the larger than life, the private jets, of course, I think there's nothing but positive stuff you can get, but from them. But to your point, be very careful who you put on this pedestal.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll be honest with you, I don't think you should put anyone on a pedestal. And I agree with that. Them the same visual to anyone else, and admire them and take the good that you could adopt to your life. I mean, ain't wrong with that.
I also don't believe that anybody's that special.
I agree.
That's like I have a few like core key beliefs. One of them is no one's that special. And if somebody else has done it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I think that putting somebody on a pedestal to learn from them, fine. You have the people that you want to learn from.
Sure.
You have the mentors that don't even know you exist. Cool. The issue is when you put somebody on a pedestal and you're like, oh, wow, look at how great they are. I can never be like that. I can never be as good as them or as successful or as rich or as famous or as whatever you want or as happy or whatever the thing is. I think that's a very dangerous. It's almost like idolatry is not a good thing. When you idolize somebody, you're turning them into an idol. There's a lot of reasons why idolatry is not good. Biblically, it's not good.
100%.
And I think that modern day idolatry is even worse because you are saying that I'm almost subservient and I am less than this person who I'm looking up to. That person is nothing. That person is not a god. That person is another human being that spent more time in the game figuring it out, trying, testing, failing. So when you look at somebody, don't look at them and be jealous or resentful or envious. These are very bad things to be. Look at somebody and say, wow, they did it. That is a signal that I can do it too. And then reverse engineer what they did to get there and know that they're no more special than you. Maybe, yeah, they had a little bit of luck. Maybe they had a leg up. Maybe they had the right neighborhood, right connections, right parents. But in my mind, that means that maybe they were able to accomplish what they accomplished, build the business, build the podcast, build the audience in 6 or 7 years. But maybe you can build it in 10 or 11 years. But it doesn't really fucking matter because in life, you only have to win once at anything.
Yeah.
Really, you figure out one business that works, truly works. You'll make more money than you know what to do with. You figure out one relationship that works. You'll be happily married for the rest of your life. You figure out how to lose weight and eat properly. You don't have to change your workout routine. You can do that and be healthy and happy and fit. So I think that if you just look at somebody who's accomplished what you want to accomplish, realize they're not that special, take the steps and the action to figure it out, eventually you're going to get there. And again, life's long. You only have to figure out anything really once and you'll live an above average, very good life.
Speaking of pedestal, I'm a big believer in manifestation, and it's the one topic they talk about in that. They never put anything on a pedestal, but then when you do that, you're like disaligning yourself. So to manifest a certain type of life, you have to live that living as you have it already.
I agree. As in all the actions you take are in alignment with that.
Here you go.
Yeah.
So if I say that, man, like you have this amazing business you sold and you've done this amazing podcast, Greg Cardone. If I put you on a pedestal, I'm disaligned. So like in me, I should have the feeling myself, KB, walking around as I've had Greg Cardone on my podcast already. I've had the Patrick Davis. I have that exude.
Yeah.
And make those moves in that manner.
I think that's smart. I think that manifestation, it's interesting because I think people get manifestation wrong.
Yes, I do. Most people, I think, do.
Because what manifestation was interpreted as, even though, and listen, I'm not like a woo-woo kind of person at all. I'm very pragmatic.
Right.
But what manifestation was interpreted as for, I think, the majority of people that watched like The Secret,
20 years ago.
was if I think about money enough, I'm going to see $100 bill on the ground. That is not manifestation.
That's not manifestation.
What manifestation is if you think about something that you think about it like you have it already, every single action you take during your day will be in alignment with that goal. And what the funny thing is, when all you think about is, I'm building the biggest podcast. That's my North Star. That's what I care about. That's, even my identity at some point. That's what I'm going for. Everything you do will be in aggressive pursuit of that goal. And ironically, when everything you do during the day is in aggressive pursuit of that goal, you will eventually achieve that goal. There's a great Mark Andreessen quote. I'm going to butcher it. I should really memorize this quote better because I bring it up on podcasts because I love it, but I can never remember it exactly. And it's along the lines of, so this is the quote from Mark Andreessen, obviously the co-founder of Andreessen Horowitz, one of the most prominent venture capital firms in the world. The world is a very malleable place. If you know what you want and you go for it with maximum energy and drive and passion, the world will often reconfigure itself around you much more quickly and easily than you think. And this is such a powerful idea because it ties into this concept, the proper interpretation of manifestation, where if all you think about is the end result that you want to achieve, and you even internalize it and you act like you already have it, and all the actions you take in a day are in aggressive pursuit of that end goal, the world will reconfigure itself over time to allow you to achieve that goal. This is how the world works. If I want to build a business, it's like a very practical, I want to build a business. I want to start a podcast. What does it take to start a podcast? Well, I have to figure out how to, forget the technical component, I have to figure out how to ask the right questions and get the best guests. Really, that's all a interview style podcast is. So if I act like I am the best podcaster and I day in, day out, take aggressive action against the goal of being the best podcaster, that means that I'm reaching out to 1,000 guests every single day and asking them to come on the show. I'm practicing all the questions. Like, all my actions are in alignment with the goal. And just through pure volume of aligned action, you will get the best guests. You will ask the best questions because you'll put all these reps in. And the thing that you want to build is on the other side of a massive amount of reps. So if that is your life, if that is your identity, if that is what you think about all day, which is really what manifestation is, and you just act like that every single day through pure volume of action against that target, you will achieve it. That's what's so wild. This is why
Love that.
This is why anything you want in life, it is not easy. Nothing about what I just said is easy. Like, just working all day towards a thing is not easy, but it's not complicated either.
Good point.
It's not complicated. You want to learn how to get guests? I mean, you could ask me, you could go on Google, you could hit up 5,000 people, and some of them would say yes. You want to learn how to ask better questions? You want to learn how to pull up better content? There's a million books you could read on it.
Study it.
Just study it.
Game.
So if you just live in the thing you want to accomplish for a long enough period of time, you're going to figure it out. It's not complicated. It's just hard work. And people can confuse like complicated and hard work. They're like, oh, I want to build a successful business. Well, is it complicated? In 2025, not, or 2026 now, geez. Not really. Because anything you want to do, I mean, you can Google it. It can tell you step by step. You can chat GPT, you can do whatever the hell, you can listen to podcasts, you can do whatever you want, read books. You can get step by step on how to do almost anything. The X factor in whether or not that will be successful is the hard work.
Yeah. Like you said, you have a lot of resources. Like, you are born in the 90s.
1990. Yeah.
So I was born in 80s, raised in the 90s and 2000s. Buddy, like, I've had entrepreneur friends back in Brooklyn. Like, I looked up to their older, and those guys were immigrants that came to this country and they didn't have the podcast. They didn't have the ChatGPT. They had the YouTube channel. They had Scott Clary channel you can go to and research Cardone or Hermosi or KB story. And that was tough.
No, yeah, no shit.
Think
It was
about it,
tough.
man.
Yeah, you got to figure that shit out. You got to. I mean, even then, the answer would have been like just talking to enough people.
Yeah.
And booking enough meetings and booking enough coffees, and so there's always an answer. Now, man, you can be lazy and still figure this out.
You can. That's so true.
But you know what's interesting. I think that society has made us more comfortable being lazy, so we are uncomfortable with hard work.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. I just feel like everything is at our fingertips. Everything is instant access, overnight success. That's how our apps are set up, whether or not it's Uber or Amazon, or don't even have to go to a movie store anymore to go rent a movie. Just go on Netflix. Everything's like instant. So we're getting, and also on social media, everybody who's like a fake hustle culture bullshit business guru is saying like how fast you can become successful if you buy my course. So a younger generation is just flooded with all these messages of overnight success. So the second they actually start something, and the second it doesn't work out in like 2 weeks, I think that's why people get frustrated, because they realize that like anything worth doing, anything worth having is actually going to be a lot of hard work over an extended period of time. And I think for somebody who was an immigrant who came with nothing, I think that was like an easier pill to swallow, because at that point, if you come to the US with nothing, you don't expect easy. You expect hard.
Yeah.
And when you expect hard, you're fucking set.
You're sad.
But when you expect easy and it's hard, and then like
Fucked.
reality fucking slaps you in the face,
Yeah.
I think that's when people get screwed up.
I agree with you. That's insane. Speaking of growing up and out of the country, you're not from the US.
I'm Canadian.
What part of Canada, man?
I was born in Toronto,
Cool.
and then I grew up in Ottawa.
Speaking of good food, I really surrounded.
I love Toronto food.
What
The
a-
food scene,
what a
the food scene in Toronto's.
And by the way, all ethnic background, from Arabic to Greek food,
Mhm.
Chinese food to Pakistani food. Oh,
So I was born in Toronto, moved when I was 3 to Ottawa. Ottawa's capital of Canada, because my dad worked for the government. So that's like the DC for reference point. And for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, Ottawa had the craziest, like in craziest and like good, like Lebanese food scene. I don't know why that was. I guess it was just a community of Lebanese people in Ottawa. So I was having like the most fire shawarma, like when I was in like grade 7, 8. I remember like the few times like my mom would like take time off work, and then we like go for lunch. We'd go for like a shawarma like down the street, and I didn't realize like how ahead of the rest of the world with shawarma.
that's amazing.
And even now, like there's one spot, I'll give them a shout out because they're my favorite shawarma place in the world. It's called Shawarma Palace.
Okay.
And
I'll check them out.
yeah, if you ever like,
Yeah.
they're only in Ottawa.
Oh, okay. I'll check out Ottawa one day. Yeah.
They're
good.
they are not just good, dude.
Amazing.
They are phenomena. Like
wow.
I can't go back because my family's still there, right?
Yeah.
I can't go back and not have it.
Gotta go there.
It's so dope.
Oh, insane. Your dad works for the government.
Yeah.
Your mom was a scientist.
She works for universities. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yes, brothers and sisters.
Yeah. One little brother. He's a lawyer.
Okay. The one actually became a lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was researching you, and I realized that you and I have in common. Before the business thing happened, I was supposed to go to law school.
Yeah.
I did it outside. I did pretty decent on it. My mentor, my sister-in-law at that time, said, "Hey, KB, I think you're made for the business."
Why'd she say that?
She said, "Look, you had to read a lot. Don't think the movie people come like Al Pacino, the lawyer in the movie, and he got up there. You don't know the truth. It's not like that. You know what I mean?
It's very boring.
It's very boring."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Listen, if you're okay with that," but she was a big time lawyer back then. "But if you're okay with that, look, more blessing to you, and I will support you." But he goes, "I can just tell you're an entrepreneur." So, and I took her advice and I went a different direction. How about you? What with you?
That's a great question. I hated school and I hated studying, and those are not good personality traits if you're going to become a lawyer. And I was never that stressed about betting on myself, because I always knew that I was comfortable with a backup. So what I mean by that is, when I early in my career, the first job I ever had was in telecom. Like I was working for a company called Bell Canada, and I was doing that through university, through my undergrad, and I was doing well, and I was making a lot of money. And I loved the idea at the time, not even of being an entrepreneur, of like working as like a VP or C-suite or director for some like big tech company. Like that was such like a sexy idea for me. Like I was like, that's where the money is. Um,
How old were you this time? This is yeah,
well,
this vision.
like I've had that vision. I mean, I started working for Bell at 18,
Okay. Oh, you're young.
19. Yeah, yeah,
Out of high school.
yeah, yeah. I always worked. I've worked my whole life. When I was 15, 16 years old, I started working coaching tennis. And then I did a whole bunch of random jobs. I would work, I work in a grocery, like I've always worked. Even during university, I was trying to work full time and take my courses at night and on the weekend. Because I wanted to build a career. And in my mind, the more I worked, the more experience I got, the quicker I could get to where I wanted to go. That was it. I was like, I wasn't a fan of like, I was never chill. I was never relaxed. I was never like, oh, I just want to fuck around. I fucked around in like high school because it was easy for me. Drank a ton. I drank a ton in university too. But yeah, I was just like, I like money. I like work. And I like sort of like leveling up. So like, why not start ASAP?
Interesting though. Your mom and dad were middle class, upper middle class,
Upper middle class, yeah.
well to do,
Yeah.
but not like Bentleys and
First of all, no one in Ottawa has a Bentley.
okay.
That's it. It's not a car people
Good
drive
to
in
know.
Ottawa. People have money,
Okay.
but they don't spend it on a Bentley.
What-
It's a different vibe.
What would they buy?
Huh?
So I was curious, what type of car would they buy?
Oh, my dad was very practical with cars. He buy Toyotas all the time. He loved
Dependable.
Toyotas. Yeah. So yeah, he when I was born, he had a Cadillac, and then he traded that in for a Toyota Sienna,
Okay.
and then a Toyota Corolla, and then like my dad loves a good drive.
Okay.
Like he loves a good
Old
drive.
school.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think he got a RAV4. He's like a car guy, but never spends a lot of money on cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he likes like a very comfortable drive. He likes reliability. It's so funny. When I first started posting stuff on YouTube, he's like, the only two things I see on YouTube are all of my car shows and then you doing your little podcast.
That's so sweet. That is so sweet. That's awesome.
So yes, upper middle class, always sort of well off, never really stressed out financially.
But like, where'd you?
Like, why did I switch? Okay, so I think that I went down the rabbit hole of tech, meaning like I finished my undergrad. I did not want to keep going into, I didn't want to immediately go into law school because I'm like, I'm making good money now. I was pulling in over 6 figures when I graduated university, which is very good because I was in sales, in tech, telecom tech, basically the same thing. We had some hardware, but we were also selling software. And I kept moving up market. So I did small, mid, enterprise. Like I kept more and more responsibility. And I was like, let me just see where this goes. And I kept making more money. And I was like, I just don't want to go back to school. And then I started working. So I left big telecom for like a smaller company in Toronto. They were doing about $10 million in sales, which is nothing compared to the first company, which is like a publicly traded multi-billion-dollar company. And then they were acquired. And that was my first exposure to exit because I was a founder built company. Like the founder was still in charge of that company when they were acquired. And that was sort of my exposure to entrepreneurship. And I also liked working in a company that size with a $10 million, about 50 employee company, give or take, because I got exposure to everything. I got exposure to sales, to marketing, to HR, to finance, operation, everything. And
Private equity.
private equity, everything. So
you built the company, saw it being built, you saw the journey of it, and eventually private equity coming in.
And I was like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah. So that, I mean, so you asked me like how I got into entrepreneurship and building my own thing. It was just
observing.
It was just observing. It was just sort of like exposing myself to shit and then saying, wow, that's kind of cool. I didn't grow up with any knowledge of that. This is like an interesting way to build a business, to build a life. And this is also, I mean, being an entrepreneur was never really on my career roadmap, but I think that when you start to go down the entrepreneur rabbit hole, it starts to seem like a little sexy. Like it becomes very attractive. That, oh my God, this guy built a company from scratch. He sold it for like tens of millions of dollars. That's so cool. That's more money than I'll ever get working a job. So I'm like, how do I become an entrepreneur? And I think that was really it. It was just, and I always knew that I could just go back to school and just be a lawyer if like nothing else worked out. So I was never really stressed out. And like betting on myself, by the way, like repeatedly betting on myself to do a job that, keep in mind, working in private industry, working for a tech company, that was still much different from what I was raised with, right? So working for government is much different than working for private industry. So I don't think people even understand, like, for somebody that just had a parent that worked for the government and a parent that worked for universities, you can't possibly, like, entrepreneurship is not even on the table. But when you say I'm going to go work for a private tech company, that's like, what do you mean?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, like, why aren't you just becoming a lawyer? Like,
Yeah.
like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that it was just pushing myself into things that at the time were uncomfortable for me, and then learning from it, and then pushing myself further and aggressive. Like, I was just always looking for, like, the next thing. I've always been looking for the next thing. So I just get bored.
But again, how did that happen? Like this,
So what I don't understand is how it happened for me, but it doesn't happen for so many other
it
people.
happened.
So, like, why, for example, all the other 50 employees who went through that exit didn't look at that event and were like, wow, I want to build something myself. Yeah. I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer. I think that I think I was very blessed to have a ton of self-confidence because of my parents. I think that's huge. I think that is like I think that, early childhood experience really shapes everything. I did not have trauma. I was not stressed about money. This creates this kind of confidence that ironically allows you to become successful when you come from a quasi-successful environment. So I think the answer is, how do you create that confidence in your own life that will give you the courage to pursue things that you may think are risky?
Yeah.
I think that's really the lesson. And I think that that's what people have to focus on, because I had that confidence just built into me, and I don't think everybody does.
Yeah. I think you nailed it. Quick story of my mom and dad divorced. I was 5. Pakistani immigrant,
Very young.
American. Yeah. Pakistani immigrant, moved to New York City, 80s. Only child, single mom raised me. My grandmother moved in, 1-bedroom apartment. I had an apartment probably a little bigger than this, man. For 17 years, I lived in Brooklyn. And what you said right now, man, my audience watching this, if you have young kids, please remind them that you love them and show them that they are worth it. Because I didn't have your upbringing. And for the longest time, Scott, 43, I come up late to the game of entrepreneurship. Like, I didn't believe in myself. Because of that, my subconscious mind was formed on welfare, food stamp. White people can get ahead. We can't. Our skin is brown. We cannot get ahead. Your name is not Johnson. Your name is Bukhari, and it's so important. Like, you're gonna have kids one day, like, and you know that this is answered already. It starts from a young age.
Yeah. You have to be very careful.
Very careful.
I think that if parents are listening to this, they have to be so careful about the message that they give their kids. Like you just mentioned, it's obviously that gets imprinted in your subconscious. Also, if you are, someone's kid, which we all are, if you're someone's kid, I think this is a very important idea to me. You have to make sure that the life you're living is your own and not just something that your parents programmed into you. Because the life that I should have lived according to my parents is nothing compared to what I'm doing now, right? But it's not because they were bad or evil. They were loving and they were caring and they wanted the best for me. But the life that they wanted for me was based on their worldview. That's how we operate as parents, right?
200%.
This is our worldview. This is what we've experienced. This is the times when we've tried to be entrepreneurs and it hasn't worked out. So I'm going to protect my child by explaining to them that they shouldn't pursue this career, or they shouldn't go out on their own, or they shouldn't do this, or they shouldn't do that. And that it's well-meaning, but I think that if the kid doesn't figure out what their life looks like for themselves, and I don't think many people do. I think most people, their lives are a mirror of what their parents or their greatest influences as a child wanted for them. And then I think this is where, like, midlife crisis comes in, where they wake up one day and they're like, is the life that I'm living even the life that I want? Like why did, and none of these things are good or bad, but why did I want to get married, or why not? Why did I want to have kids, or why not?
Or believe in God.
Or
not.
believe in God,
Wow.
or be an entrepreneur, or take a job, or go to med school or law school, or be an engineer. Like why? Why all these things? Because somebody told you that's like the way to live your life. And nothing wrong with any of those things, obviously, but you got to like be, okay, is this the life I actually want? Because what you don't want to have happen is you don't want to wake up at 50, 55, 60 and be like, fuck, I never wanted any of this. That's scary to me. That's very scary to me. And I never wanted that for myself either. I never wanted to regret. I never wanted to do something just because someone else wanted me to do something.
That's insane, man.
And I think that I was fortunate
You're blessed, man.
I was very fortunate to be exposed to people that gave me the confidence and the courage to think for myself. That's the only way I can summarize my life.
Your dad and your mom were like, yes, God, we love you still, no matter what.
100%. 100%.
Not if you become a doctor, we'll love you, or you become an engineer, we'll love you. But
There was no condition. There's no condition. I was also fortunate that the people, like the career mentors, the people that hired me, like they also, like that's pure luck. That is pure luck. The people that hire you, the founder of the company who exited, like all super supportive of all the crazy shit that I wanted to do with my life. I think that's very rare. I don't know.
manifestation.
I have no idea. I have no idea. Or maybe it's selective. Maybe I'm thinking about this now. Maybe I just remember the people that gave me permission to do whatever I wanted, because those are the influences that actually led into my life. And then the people that said that's stupid or that's a bad idea, I had so much self-confidence that I almost forgot they even existed. And I think that that's also a superpower. And these are things that I'm like, thinking about in hindsight. They're not things I thought about at the time. But if you think about two people that are both, people that you look up to, one of them saying you could do everything, you could do it all. It could be your parent, it could be a boss, whatever, go start the business, go it on your own. And the other person saying, no, that's stupid, that's not for you. People like us don't do that. Whatever the message is, I mean, you have the choice of which message to listen to. And sometimes I think people default to the negative message or that safer message or I don't know. I have no idea. But I don't listen to those people. I just never have listened to those people. Because I look for examples of people that have accomplished whatever they want to accomplish and have, done things that have never been done before. And it brings us back to sort of like that first idea that I had where I don't think anybody's that special. So if you're telling me I can't do it, I've seen somebody do it. So you're wrong. That's my worldview. You're just wrong. I've seen somebody do it. They're not that special. Who are they? They're cool, but they just do it for 15 years and figured it out. So I don't know. I discount a lot of negativity, a lot of scarcity mindset, all those words, right?
I love that.
I think you got to.
You have to, man. So the telecom company, when I exited,
Yeah.
what'd you do after that?
I did consulting and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. That was my first version of entrepreneurship. I absolutely hated it. I was trying.
All right, wait, question. Did you make anything out of the exit?
No, not the first time.
This your commission you saw, that was it, and then it's exited, and then boom, you're out.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went consulting after that.
Yeah, consulting after that. And that was the first version of entrepreneurship. Learned how to build a consulting business from the ground up. It was just hard work.
Is this you're consulting? You didn't join like Accenture or something else?
No.
Was this you?
And we had two partners.
Okay.
And we built it a team. Like it wasn't just
okay. Got it.
Me. Yeah. But that wasn't that fun for me. I just found it to be a ton of work, which is work is not a bad thing. But I also learned, and they were great people that I partnered up with. But I have gone through so many different partners, and I think that that's another lesson too. Like, just because they're good people doesn't mean they're the right partners for you. Like your personalities have to align too. It's like getting into a partnership with somebody is like getting into a marriage with somebody. You got to be careful. So all great people, nothing bad to say, but anybody who I've ever partnered up with on anything that I've ever tried to do, But yeah, that's one thing I've learned. Like if you feel like this is not a good partnership, like kill it ASAP.
Right.
Yeah, kill it right away. I think also sometimes we get too excited about jumping into partnership with people. I think that just like an opportunity presents itself, you get excited. There's this almost like this like energy, and then you start building something, and it's just personalities are clashing, the vision isn't aligned, and it's hard to break that thing off. And you spend too long building something that isn't actually meant for you. I think that we should be much more careful about who we get into partnerships with in a business context, because it is like a marriage, and be very quick to break it off if it's not working. And I've gotten better with that over the years, but this is like my first sort of like entrepreneurial venture.
So the consulting company lasted how long? How long you been part of that company when you exited?
Well, we didn't exit it, we just shut it down.
Very young.
Yeah, I wish it was an exit.
2 years?
2 years. Or 2 years.
Shook hands.
Yeah.
Wished to work differently.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Walked out.
Yeah.
Everyone. Okay. What happened after that?
Then I joined a co-founding team as chief revenue officer for a broadcast software company. And that was a company that I was building before COVID. And then we exited that at the end of COVID. And then I was starting my podcast while I was building that company. So that was pure. That was what I actually really enjoyed, because that was software, and that was fun. That was exciting. And
The CEO.
I was not CEO.
CO.
CR, Chief
Oh.
Revenue.
Oh, wow.
So there's CEO, there was CTO,
Second off.
and then I was responsible for all the sales and marketing.
You get equity in that. How many people?
Total 12.
Okay.
It was a small company.
Okay.
But then we negotiated a deal with a big hardware company called Grass Valley. And Grass Valley is, they're like a Sony, for lack of a better description. And then they acquired us at the end of COVID. It was a small answer. But, and then
Set you up.
not to never work
Right.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
But
small. Yeah. And then that's when I started my podcast as a way to future-proof myself. Because how that acquisition took place is a year before they acquired us, before Grass Valley acquired us, they had, the best way to describe this is like they wanted to try out the product across their customer base before they actually acquired us. So that means that we were already integrating, we had enterprise products, we had consumer products. It was like a streaming service, for lack of a better description. And we were selling it to like news broadcasters that could do like remote control broadcasts. So think about like an BBC or an MSNBC, and they wanted to do a local broadcast, and they wanted to bring in all these different camera feeds, and then virtually control them and switch them and do like, lower thirds and graphic overlays. Anyway, so Grass Valley wanted to try this product out with all their customers. So for about a year before they actually pulled the trigger on the acquisition, they were integrating our product suite across their entire sales organization and selling it to customers. So for a year, I knew that this was happening. And this is when I was like, okay, so what am I going to do on the other side of this? And that's when I started the podcast, because I wanted to future-proof myself. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I didn't build it for that company. I built it for myself. But I also knew that if I built an audience and a community, then at some point I could
Leverage it. Do something.
I was a student of the Gary V's of the world.
Love it.
Who built an audience, and he can launch a business overnight because he has
That's the
millions.
story, right?
Yeah.
He was the winery business. Gary
What
was
is that? He
Yeah.
had a wine shop with
Huge.
dad,
right.
and
He's very early on.
Yeah.
To the influencer Rockstar game we're talking about earlier.
well, that's it, right? So what he did was he built a huge audience he built wine library, wine library.
It was something like that.
And he used it to drive sales for like a physical brick and mortar wine store. And then he started VaynerMedia out of the conference room of Mike and Cass Lazaro, which are two great entrepreneurs I just met in New York. And they had an amazing story themselves. They sold Buddy Media, their company, to Salesforce for like $750 million. But anyways, they were the ones who gave Gary the conference room, a spare, well, it wasn't even the spare, it was their only conference room. He started VaynerMedia there, went all in on his personal brand, plus doing social media marketing for brands. And now he obviously, everyone knows Gary Vee. He has a massive audience. But he uses that audience to launch businesses. So when you have the audience, you can do whatever you need to with that audience. An audience is media leverage, like to your point, right? So we can start anything now. And that's what he did. And I was a student of him because I was a marketer. So I was figuring out, I'm learning from Seth Godin, I'm learning from Gary Vee, I'm learning from all these great marketers. Truly. Even like I think Seth is like Gary's goat because Seth is like an older generation.
He's 100%.
About
when you think of a marketer, his face pops up.
I love Seth. He's so big. I also got him on the podcast just by emailing him directly.
Really?
Yeah, you don't need fuck the gatekeeper.
Yeah, that's funny.
But
you don't have a gatekeeper right now, right? Patrick, but David are gatekeepers now.
I'm going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Let me finish this and I'll talk about it. So the point is, I started the podcast to build media leverage so that I could use it for something in the future. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew that when you build media leverage, you could launch a business, you could sell a course, you could sell consulting, you could sell anything. You could
keynotes, man. Because
keynotes, write a book. Even if you don't want to start a business,
sure,
you're very hireable as an executive or anything because now you come with an audience. Right? The
authority.
The brand is the authority. It's the online resume. Anyway, back to Patrick, but David and everyone has a gatekeeper to start. Okay. So all the people I just mentioned that I've had on the podcast, I have hit these people up like 4 or 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
It's not like the first time I messaged.
No, I got it.
But you message them and like everybody sees the message. Everybody reads the email. Very few people don't read emails. Like I read every email I get. Doesn't mean that I bring everybody on the pod. I read every email I get. I see every email. I see every DM. I go through all my own shit. It's just a matter of, have you put enough reps in? And so Patrick, but David, there's going to be a gatekeeper until there's not. So you put out 5 episodes, there's a gatekeeper. You put out 100 episodes, there's a gatekeeper. You put out 1,000 episodes, maybe there's no gatekeeper anymore. Maybe he answers your DM.
Yeah, it changes.
So
level change.
100% now. But you're entirely in control of that.
Yeah.
So Gary Vee didn't answer my DM because I started yesterday.
Yeah.
Because he goes online, he's like, oh, this
definitely.
guy has like thousands of YouTube videos posting online. He probably hit me up like 6 other times telling me that this book was good and that book was good and come on my podcast for years. And then finally,
he finally does it.
He says yes.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Personal brand. When I started my personal brand after the stroke, and I started a real estate agent, and my wife was a physician, old school thinking at that time. Now she's way ahead. She's like, what are you doing? Were you showing houses, you social media, these salty videos? I'm out here working out. And back then, this was 8, 9 years ago, no one was doing that. And I was a geeker, bro. And I had my friend making fun of me, like, dude, what are you doing? And then, and some of my friends still to this day, like, dude, these reels you're putting up, and again, for me, it's public speaking is my new thing now, and I'm doing it quite a bit, and I'm getting paid to do it. And I don't care about the money as much. The message for me is more important. But listen, if I can get paid to do it, something I'm passionate about,
why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
And the branding has helped me get the keynotes, get me the podcast, get me hosts like yourself. And if you're not branding yourself, no matter what you do, I don't care if you're a lawyer, a realtor, you're a med spa owner, or a physician, you need to have a brand in today's day and age.
Mm-hmm. I know. And if you don't have one, people are going to create a brand for you. People, listen, the second somebody Googles you, they'll always form an opinion about you, good or bad. It's just the way people are.
Yeah,
so
but
it's better to control that by
I
putting
agree with
content.
You. Now, I have some very wealthy friends that have done really well, and they have no brand, and I get it. And the argument with me is like, hey man, there's a lot of people out there that have much more money than in Patrick but David, and they don't have a brand, and I get that. I'm not saying that only brand people have brands doing. No,
that's silly.
Yeah.
You don't need a brand to be successful.
I get it.
I'm just, when we talk about personal brand and talk about media leverage, we're just looking at a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
So that would be like me saying, well, I don't need AI to build a business. Okay, yeah, you're right.
You're right.
You can probably go rent out a brick and mortar shop and make great pastries, and through word of mouth, people are going to come to your shop. And you don't have to have a website, but like, stop making it fucking harder for yourself.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do it, because there are, according to Naval Ravikant and his famous tweet thread, there's 4 kinds of leverage, right? There is human, financial, technology, and media. So the most successful businesses on earth, more or less, especially more modern ones, they leverage all 4, right? Now, traditionally, the media, like, people get human capital. People understand you have to hire people. People understand you need money. People understand you need technology. The media component, I mean, that's not new, but the ability for somebody to build media with no capital, no barrier to entry is new, right? So funny. Last night, I rewatched from the beginning Mad Men, which I love. But there used to be a lot of gatekeepers to not just ads, but news, there used to be gatekeepers to everything. So you couldn't, as a founder of a company, really become famous without someone else's help. And now you can. So yeah, you can make the argument, I don't need to do it. I'm just telling you, it's going to make your job easier, and you're going to spend a lot less money. Because of course you can run ads, you can run, direct mail, you can advertise on Facebook, on Google, on Bing, you can do a billboard. I don't give a shit. You can pay for a Super Bowl ad. But everything is getting more expensive now because organic impressions are stealing eyeballs away from paid. So you would think that in 2025 paying for legacy advertising is cheaper. No, it's more expensive because less people want it. So now they have to jack their prices up to basically stay in business. Like, to buy, I was listening to Gary Vee, who was talking about how like a print ad in a newspaper or a magazine is like more expensive than 10 or 15 years ago, which is wild because less people are buying them. So for the newspaper to stay in business, they're gouging the shit out of people who refuse to market in any other manner because that's how they stay in business. So yeah, you don't need a personal brand, but if you do, it's going to help you. And understand that at the end of the day, all business is human to human. All business is one human solving a problem for another human. That's all it is. So what a personal brand does, it's not useful just so that you're famous. It's something that creates a massive amount of trust. Because when you can create trust, you can create a parasocial relationship or bond between yourself and your audience, the percentage of them converting will be much higher. They'll convert much quicker. Because again, they just have to trust that you can do what you say you do. So personal brand isn't about you. It's about them believing that you can do what you say you do. And if you don't build it, yes, you can sell them through ads. You can sell them through email campaigns. You can sell them through direct mail and all that stuff. It's just going to cost more and take more time because you gotta build that trust. In enterprise sales, where I started my career, or like B2B sales, where I started my career, there was a stat, and I'm sure it's still pretty relevant. To sell anything to anyone, especially high ticket, you need like 7 to 15 different touch points to build trust with them. And if it's like I say high ticket, like $100,000 to several $1 million, not like the high ticket stuff you talk about online, like true enterprise sales, right? Selling software to, Berkshire Hathaway, or selling something that I mean, one of the sponsors of the show is NetSuite by Oracle. They're selling big software implementations to businesses, right? These are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes $1 million projects. 7 to 15 plus different touch points to build enough trust with a buyer. For cheaper things, less. But the point is, what a personal brand does is it acts as some of those touch points. So if I believe that a CEO is ethical and honest, and I vibe with who they are as a person, there's a higher likelihood, because that's more touch points that are going to allow me to build trust with that brand. So when I eventually make a purchasing decision for a new product or service, whatever it is, I want to go with the CEO that I resonate with. Of course I do. Why would I not? Because outside of that, everything else is the same. Price is the same, product's the same, quality is the same. The tiebreaker is going to be me trusting the CEO, me liking the CEO. So just it's just another way to build trust online. Build trust with your
I think
audience.
I think also people are just so very camera shy.
Yeah,
Small business owners, right? For sure. And I get it, right? I mean, like I told you earlier, but my wife and I have
I
to
was.
Yeah, you were? Okay.
When I started, I didn't like it.
Yeah. Right. So like
But I
we
just
have
did it. I mean, like, that's fucking life. Like, get over it
yeah,
and do it.
but you're an entrepreneur, right? By trade.
Yeah, but like,
If you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, and now me and you, we form a company, we go to these entrepreneurs and say, hey guys, look, we made the media brand of ours. Want to help you do it now. I can almost bet you based on my experience, and maybe I'm wrong, but
you're right.
8 out of 10, like, okay, I'll sign up with you, but I don't want to just go on the camera. Like, I'm very uncomfortable. I'll give you an example. We own a medical spa and wellness. We have 2 clinics in Central Florida, and we had this amazing injector, beautiful. And I won't say her name; she gets shy. Bro, if you see her face to face and without the camera, she'll talk. She is so charming, amazing. Other day, I said to her, "Hey, Rebecca, I was like almost about to close. Let's shoot some content in the back." I said her name. I took her in the back.
It's your
Your
show. You can bleep it out if you want.
No, she'll laugh this. And I took her in the back and, hey, say this and say this. She froze. But her presence in real life versus on real life, so different.
I mean, so this is more
Yeah.
strategy.
Right.
So the first thing I would say to somebody who is like refusing to go on camera,
Yeah.
I would say, like, just go on camera. Like, just
Just do it.
just do it. Like, let me help you do it well. You got to trust that I know how to get you to show up as your authentic self on camera. But I understand that it's difficult for you. But if you trust me to do this for you, then let's figure it out.
Sure.
Let's figure it out. Okay. So if somebody's saying like, and like, usually they won't actually say I'm nervous. Usually it'll come with all this bullshit about why it's not effective. It's like they're lying because they don't actually want to say I'm nervous. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to say that I have like this like apprehension about being on camera. I'm camera shy. Like, no one. I've worked with a lot of business owners. I like, this is actually something that I'm working on now. I'm building out an agency that does like personal branding for literally this kind of person. But most of the people don't say I'm camera shy. Most of them will say like, oh, I'm not good on camera, or I don't think I need to do it in my industry. I don't think my face has to be on it. Like, it's usually some sort of excuse, right? But ultimately it's like, I'm camera shy, because there's enough examples out there of why personal branding does work. But getting over that hurdle, the way to get somebody to show up authentic, and this is something that I actually go back and forth with and argue with people about, because some people say you should just put reps in. Gary Vee says you should just hold up the phone and record yourself every single day. And people don't do it because it's stressful for them. It's very stressful. By the way, it's very hard in 45 seconds, 60 seconds to have like a perfect thought, perfectly articulated on stories.
Executed.
100%. Very hard for somebody who's never done it before. So a lot of social media coaches, I don't even know what to call them, they'll say, just show up on camera. I'm saying, fuck that shit. No, that's not the way to do it. I want to play to your strengths. And right now your strengths are, you're better when you don't know you're being recorded. You're better. So what does that mean? So in my mind, the best way to do this is to sit somebody in a chair. I'll turn a camera on, and it'll be side profile. They're not looking at the camera. I want them to forget the camera even exists. I'm going to write down 30, 40, 50 questions. I'm going to get enough questions where after about 3 or 4 questions, we're having a conversation. You don't even fucking remember the camera's on, but I'm recording everything. And then I'm going to take that content, I'm going to clip it. That's going to be your first version, your first batch of social content you're going to post on social. It's going to be you talking to me. I'm the videographer. I'm the friend. I don't give a shit. It could be your mom. It could be your friend. It could be a coworker. There's somebody who's literally sitting in front of you asking questions about shit you know.
Sure.
It's not going to be selfie camera. It's not going to be facing the camera. You're not even going to think about it. And I'm going to get really good information from you. I'm going to find a really great video editor on Upwork or Fiverr or TopTal or something like that that can clip that and find the best parts. And they're going to turn into 30 or 45-second clips. You're going to start posting that on Instagram. You're going to realize that your world isn't over, and there's going to get some traction. And then after we start your account with that, that's when I would start doing the selfie camera stuff, because now you have the proof that it works. But to get somebody from 0 to 1, I'm a big fan of like baby steps. Baby steps that play to your strengths. I'm actually not even a fan of telling somebody if they hate being on camera to even be on camera, because I've seen creators kill it on every single platform. I think if you want to be a creator, I think you should find a way to build an audience on the platform that you enjoy. Justin Welsh built a massive audience on LinkedIn. Sahil Bloom built a massive audience on Twitter. Okay.
He's awesome.
Dan Coe, great newsletter, also on Twitter a little bit.
Where's the hell, dude? On
Twitter. He started
Did?
on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah. He built his first audience on Twitter. And now, obviously, they all go everywhere, but they start to their strengths. Sahil was not even on Instagram when he first started his.
How'd you have him on?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. Cool.
Yeah. He was sitting.
Oh,
Yeah.
and he local?
No.
California.
He used to be in California. I think now he moved back to New York.
Okay.
Or somewhere. Or Boston.
Okay.
I just saw on his story he moved somewhere.
I'm trying to get him on right now. Yeah, good kid though. I like his content is great.
He's very good.
Yeah.
But he started as a writer.
Wow.
While he was during COVID. I think he was working a finance job. He started as a writer. He started doing these really great threads on Twitter, grew his account that way, and then he does all the stuff now. But that's where he started. Wrote the book that became a Wall Street Journal best-selling book, mostly off of his Twitter audience. And now he has, and then he went from Twitter short form to newsletter, long form, and now he does all the other stuff. But he started on Twitter. But yeah, you can build an audience anywhere.
That's awesome.
So you don't.
I agree.
Don't just do something because it's trendy. Do something that you're comfortable doing.
You're aligned with.
Hmm?
You should be aligned with the channel too, right?
Yeah.
Like
you have
said,
to be.
right?
You really have to be. You really have to be. That's why I'm not a fan of like. Okay, I'm gonna check myself because maybe I am. I was about to say I'm not a fan of like doing things that you're super uncomfortable with, but that's a lie. I am, but not when you start. So what I mean by this, if you want to become a content creator, I think if it's a massive shift from what you know, then you gotta take baby steps in. You gotta take baby steps in. I'll tell you what I'm thinking about right now, because when I first started speaking, I have like a pretty wild sort of story about how I started speaking, which I was very uncomfortable with, and it actually worked out for me, but I don't even know if that would be the best advice for someone else listening. But I think that, I'm gonna stick with my first point of view.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of doing things that are incredibly uncomfortable to start. I am a big fan of baby steps. I really think that's very important. I think because for most normal people, and I say normal people because I don't think I'm actually that normal. I actually think that I sort of pursue really ridiculously hard and scary things on purpose sometimes. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just like a masochist. I really don't know why, but it's worked out for me. But I think for the average person, I've seen such a drop-off rate when they try to do something the hard way right out of the gate, that I don't think for the average person it is smart for you to jump on social and make yourself super uncomfortable and do things that you hate doing. I think that is a recipe for you quitting. I'm going to come back to the speaking story in a second. So I think that, I am a fan of doing things with the least amount of friction, least amount of stress when you first start. I think that increases the chance and likelihood of you actually sticking with it, which is the precursor for being successful. The reason why I hesitated when I say that is because how I got into speaking, I was very nervous about speaking. And HubSpot sponsored this podcast for almost 5 years now. I think 5 years. Almost 5 years. I can't remember. Almost 5 years. It's been a while. And every year they host a conference in Boston called Inbound. It's like their big conference. And because they sponsor the podcast, they asked me to speak. So the first time I spoke ever, really, was at Inbound. And not tens of thousands, like 10, 11, 12, 13,000 people come to this conference. It's a very big conference.
What's it called?
Inbound.
Okay.
It's HubSpot's big conference.
Okay.
And the first time I was really on stage in front of a significantly sized audience was that. And that was a lot for me. So what I'm saying is I threw myself into a very hard thing and it worked out. But I don't actually recommend that people do this. No, I actually don't.
Either.
So it worked out for me. But then after that, because when I went on stage, it went fine. I did like a live podcast in Boston on stage with some other great entrepreneurs. And I was like sweating. I was nervous as shit. And And then after that, I was like, I never want to experience being that nervous ever again. So what I did was I threw myself into stressful, but not incredibly stressful speaking situations. So I would go around anywhere in South Florida that would have me, and I'd say yes to any speaking gig. But it was like audiences of like 10 or 20 or 30. I think it's a smarter way to start because I don't actually wish the stress of doing a big event for your first time on anyone. I actually think that if I had just done like 30 small speaking gigs, my first big event would have been much less stressful. So yes, I am a fan of not creating more friction and more stress at the beginning of like a new thing you're taking on in your life than you have to. So yes, that's why bringing it all the way back to social media. If you are going to start on social media and you are camera shy, or if you're trying to get into speaking and you're afraid of audiences, which is like the #1 fear in the world, I think baby steps will increase the likelihood of you being successful at that thing, doing the thing in a way that doesn't stress you out too much, almost like marginally stretching you outside of your comfort zone, but not like giving you a heart attack, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think now in days that we're in, I find it interesting when I meet people that have no social media.
Oh, I know. Yeah, but a lot do. A lot of people don't have it.
But I understand if you're 50 plus and you know, again, a lot of wealthy, high wealth people are very private, and I understand a lot of liability. You know this.
Yeah.
We both our friends have exited major companies, white hair people, you know, from New York. You know, they have IB bankers are here now. But when you see like people in their 30s and 40s, you know, and you're like, dude, you have social media. And I get it. I actually do see the negative part of social media. For me, Scott, I see this all the time. Social media changed my life. I'll show you why. I only focus on mindset. If you go to my feed, it's manifestation, mindset,
Mm.
wellness, podcasters, entrepreneurship. If you are a guy who's looking at girls all day long and the Rari, the Lambos, and stuff like that, then yes, you're wasting your time.
Negative and
Negative accent. So I'm telling you, man, like, yeah, not just toot your horn, you're sitting in front of me. Like, your page is nice. I've been following you, man. Your page could bring me value.
Yeah.
I recently reposted someone that you knew as a female entrepreneur locally. I forgot who it was. Someone you knew, actually. I actually went from about it. I went from your to hers. I think you came and liked it. I'll show you. I will show you
Yeah.
after.
Here's
She
what
put this amazing post on something about entrepreneurship that people don't talk about. I think she's married to a gentleman with the glasses, and you get pictures with him. Anyway, I'll circle back to that in a second. Amazing book.
is it Ariana Perea?
Maybe. They're local here.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're very close with her. So Leo, her husband, is the CEO of EXP.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what.
yeah.
That's I saw that.
Yeah, I'll just show you.
There you go.
They're some of our best friends down here. It's
They're,
like well,
I posted
yeah.
one of those. One of those. Right. That one right there. I think I posted.
yeah. They're good friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, like stuff like that, man. It changes my day. It made my wife back and forth. Hey, read this, we read it. My wife is a big fan of Cody Sanchez.
Yeah.
You know, Lila Homozy.
Yeah.
So for me and my wife, I would say social media has been great.
Well, it's all about what you make it.
You
Dude.
should make it.
Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, has just he went on record the other day saying that you can now set up your algorithm to only see certain types of content now. And this is like incredible because sometimes like I see them, my algorithm's pretty locked into like entrepreneurship, self-development stuff. But now like you can actually set it. So it's not sending you random stuff. I think that's really important because Instagram is not so bad. Twitter is so negative. Twitter is super negative. So you got to be careful what your inputs are. Always. And I think that actually that, you know, this is a totally separate thing, but I think that's why people's mental health suffered so much during COVID.
I agree with you.
Because they were at home, they had nothing to do on their phones, and they were just downloading all this garbage, all this trauma and stress and hate and
negativity.
And I think it fucked a lot of people up.
I agree with you. I agree with you, and it's not a good thing. Circling back, Your podcast, man. Like, I mean, you've had some of the biggest names.
Thank you, dude.
Like, I'm a podcaster. I've been in this game for 2 years. I've had close to maybe 80 interviews. I started with my previous my employer one time. Hey, man, can you jump on my podcast? I want to interview you. And I've had some names like Alex Morton is one, Andy Elliott,
Yeah.
the Manson family, some superhuman. But you have some like Grant Cardone, OG. Some people hate him, some people like him. I personally like his style. I like the brand, what he stands for. It's not everything I agree with, of course, but he's a household name,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Give me a story about him. How'd you get him on?
I mean, it's not that exciting of the story. It's all DMs, dude. Yeah. It's all DMs. The first time I had him on, how did I hit him up? First time I had him on, because I had him on twice. I just reported one at his studio in Aventura, at his office. I've had everybody from all the major Cardone players. So him, Elena, Brandon, I've had all the Cardone people on. All very smart business people as well. So first time I had him on was during COVID. It was right when he shaved his hair and said he was like selling his jet.
I remember that.
And he says some wild shit on social media.
I love that one.
But that was the first time I had him on. But I remember, I'm going to tell you a belief that I have and why it led to the interview the first time. Because the second time, I already had a big audience. So it wasn't as hard to get him on the second time. But the first time, one belief that I have is taking really big shots. Like taking shots that most people would be scared to take. Starting a business, reaching out to somebody who has no business talking to you. Like it takes just as much energy to take big shots as it does to take little shots in life. So when you're starting a podcast, you're trying to start a business, you want an investor, a mentor, you want a great guest, just fucking hit up the biggest of the biggest of the biggest names. Because what's the worst they can say? No. That's always the worst that can happen. It's like all asymmetric upside, right? You have nothing. You have no business, no money, no guests, no fame. Shoot your shot. Ask for ask for Jeff Bezos, ask for Grant Cardone, ask for Elon Musk, ask for Mark Zuckerberg, ask for Gary Vee, ask for all these dudes. Who cares if they say no? You're at the same spot as where you were before. Nothing.
No.
It's all upside. So when I first started, I took really big shots. And by the way, this is like career advice. This is like, you want a job? Shoot for shit that you are like 75% qualified to do. And figure it out. I'm not saying do it and lie, but shoot for it. And if they give you the chance, figure it the fuck out. If you bring somebody on and they say yes, awesome, book them and give them the best podcast of their life. Like, swing above your level, always, because just through pure numbers, a percentage of the time it'll work out. And sometimes that's all you need. So bringing back the story to Grant Cardone, when I first started the podcast, I found all these big business influencers, probably like 3,000 or 4,000 people. And I'm a sales and marketing guy. I mean, anybody could figure this out, but I could figure out their emails or their agents or their emails or like, it's not really that hard. You Google how to find someone's email. There's a million different tools to do it. And I hit them all up. And of the ones that replied back, they included Anthony Scaramucci and Grant Cardone and Patrick Bet-David and Guy Kawasaki, which are really big names. And I also made it easy for them. For the first one, I said, virtual, 30 minutes of your time. Jump on, promote whatever it is you want to promote. I'll do the editing. We'll give your team clips for social. We'll make it sort of stress-free. So you reduce the friction and you just take big swings at shit and some of it works out. So that was how I got Grant at the beginning. And if you take enough swings, like it may not be Grant for you, but it'll be someone big. And if you want to increase the chance of you being successful, then not only you take big shots, but then you align that shot with something that's important to them. And I mentioned this before we started recording, but one of my first strategies was looking on Amazon, looking at new and upcoming business book top releases, and then finding those authors and then shooting them an email saying, hey, you're releasing a book. It's coming out in 6 months. I know that you're already going to do a PR tour. Come on my podcast. It's not huge, but we'll create some clips. You're already doing like 30 of these.
Sure.
Do one more. I'll create some clips. You can market it on social. You get access to 5,000 other people. You can promote your book on this journal program, and then you get some people say yes. So I mean, that's how I got Grant on. And then the second time was about 6 months ago, much later when the show had already grown. At that point, I just DM'd him and we scheduled something at his office.
Not hard.
I mean, what's hard, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's hard about it is 5,000 or not 5, like 2,000-3,000 emails. What's hard about it is the second time, doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of interviews and posting 30 to 40 pieces of content per day and building a reputation online that way. I mean, people could say that's hard, but is it like outside the realm of possibility? No, of course not.
It's an outreach, right? That, like you said, you shared something earlier about what do you have to lose if they say no? But man, let me tell you something. Me, you think that way, but I was a realtor back in the day, and I had a team, and my team, I had to train them to come on board, onboarding. And you'd be surprised, man. I mean, you probably know this already. People have this innate fear of just being turned down.
Yeah, I know.
And no one has to even know your DM, right? Like if I said, like, I reached out to you, said no to me, my wife doesn't have to know that. No one has to know that, right? And that's how I had to know, right? Right? So,
Like, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to screenshot it and be like, look at this loser. No, like, what are you talking about? No one's doing that.
but people have it. I was telling my agent the other day, and he'd call me, hey, KB, I know you don't do real estate full time anymore, but like, I'm new in the game. I go, bro, go knock on some doors.
100%.
Knock on some doors. Don't even talk about a real estate thing. Just introduce yourself. Have a story.
Yeah.
I was telling my quick story of mine. I had a stroke. Moved my in-laws. I got word that their next door neighbor was selling their home. I went across, knocked on the door. Scott, true story. 8 years ago. I forgot the name. Deidre. Hi, I'm KB. I'm so and so. And son-in-law. I heard you starting your house. And she goes, but to close the door. I mean, one second. Just give me one chance. I'm a new agent. I had a stroke about 6 months ago. I learned how to walk again, talk again. I do well. My wife is a physician. I have money. I'm good. Like I'm not asking for a handout, but I'm asking for an opportunity. So let me show you my skill sets. Years in sales and marketing. I'll get you the best dollar. Come inside, let's talk. Got the listing, sold the house, off to my entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah. And by the way, you actually probably could have just built a relationship with them and they would have given you an opportunity like 6 months, a year later. Or they would have referred you to somebody that, again, human to human. Human to human. That's it.
And she said no. The tools, yes or no, right? What will that happen?
Nothing. I've been told no so many times.
Me too, man.
Like more times than I can count.
And if you're not getting enough no, you're not working hard enough.
I agree.
So the podcast studio is amazing. You're here in Miami, Florida. You're new here.
Yeah.
Tell me why'd you choose Miami?
I choose Miami for career mostly. It was, I mean, if I'm building a podcast, I mean, my views on what creates good content have changed a little bit. I think that it's important for a podcaster to do solo content, actually, not just interview content. But at the time, I was focused on doing a lot of interview content. I moved down to Fort Lauderdale first, and then Miami about 5 years ago, just at the end of COVID. And
41?
Yeah. And you're good with dates, dude. I'm so bad.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude.
I'm not good with dates at all.
I go back.
Since COVID, I feel like the time is just like it's like been 1 year.
I have timeline, homie. I left 2020. So I'm thinking in my head right now, like I left, you're coming in.
Yeah.
Got it.
So why Florida? Why Miami? I mean, because you want access to people. If you're going to do an interview podcast, right? And I still do interviews, obviously. I think that solo is important as well to build a connection with your audience. That's a whole other conversation. But if you want access to people, especially for a podcast, it helps to be in, one of the 3 major U.S. coastal cities. And that's why we moved down here. And on top of that, the weather's beautiful. And the tax is better than Canada can. So
very well.
Yeah.
When you moved here, were you kind of shell shocked like that? This is a different vibe. Canada's very different. A lot of beautiful women around here.
Well, I wasn't single when I moved down here, so I can't look. But
Yeah, you should.
it is very different.
Yeah.
It is very different for sure. I mean, half the year people aren't walking around in like parkas and coats. But it's, I mean, I think you can get used to a good thing pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's always sunny and it's so nice and there's a beach. What am I going to do with myself? Like, I can figure it out.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
But I've never, I think the bigger thing people have issue with sometimes is moving away from like what they know. But I think the reason why I was so comfortable moving down to the US and to Miami was just because it's the way I look at life. Like, I'm not worried about throwing myself into new shit. Like, if you think about, listen, I've not had a hard life. I don't have some crazy origin story. Even you have had a crazier origin story than me. But there's some people that I was homeless or like crazy shit, right? I did not have
by their uncle.
100% crazy
Bad
stuff.
stories. Yeah.
Don't have that.
Right.
So I'm not pretending that anything I did was that hard compared to it. But there have been, like, for me, objectively hard moves that I've made in my life that have been, you know, not high risk, but like higher than normal risk, like leaving a job, working smaller company, moving into startup, starting a podcast. These are all like not things that everybody does. So they're like higher risk. So like you take enough risks, you take enough sort of chances in life. You develop the muscle of figuring shit out. So you asked me, like, was Miami's like the least stressful thing I've ever done. Like, there's been many other stressful leaps of faith that I've taken in my life. Miami was like, it's nothing. Miami is literally not. But some people get stressed out about changing their country,
Sure.
where they live. And keep in mind, I did not move down to Miami with like no money, no connections, no experience. Like,
You're not a 20-year-old starting off as doing.
no, not at all. So I think that, you know, and most of my friends who have like made it, I feel like you could make it anywhere in the world if you're a smart person, if you're hungry. I believe that you could transplant most people to literally anywhere in the world and they'd find a way to do something and probably live a pretty good life. It's like the truly entrepreneurial ones, because they've gone through so much shit already. Like a different location
Doesn't
like,
change much.
it doesn't change shit. It really doesn't.
What you're married?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Soon.
Okay.
Very soon. We've been together for a very long time.
How does that work in entrepreneurship? You're a good-looking guy. You remind me of the character from the Marvel movie, Pepper America. You dude, you probably get that a lot, right? You probably do, right?
I think I've gotten that before because of the hair.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten Ben Affleck once or twice.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Your
but-
height, your
Yeah.
build. I mean, you know, I never knew this. I'm tall myself, but the tall men naturally get more women. My buddies are shorter. He told me the whole thing, the whole science behind it. I'm like, no way, dude. Wait, watch. Show me more study.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, true. And I found out why. Women just feel more safer.
And it's like a biological
It is.
response.
You could be a better looking shorter guy and better body
Yeah.
and be a left looking good looking guy and be taller,
And they want taller.
and it's perception.
That's so interesting.
So being tall has
Like, I know women want tall guys. I don't know.
that's
why.
one of the reasons
Yeah.
I figured out. Being an entrepreneur, being good looking, being successful, how do you manage being in a relationship long term, like you said?
I think you just got to know I think first of all, you got to be with the right person.
The number one's that, right?
Yeah, I love Gina like an incredible amount, and she is such a benefit and such like an amazing addition to my life. I also know the kind of life that I want to live. Like, I don't want a life where I'm chasing after women, and like, I don't see that being a happy, fulfilled life. Like from a science biological perspective, like when you're always lusting after someone. If you are interested in this topic, I learned a lot from Arthur Brooks, who speaks about this, but you are never truly pair bonding with your partner. So you're like, if you are single, doesn't matter if you're good looking or not. If you're single, you're like always like in like this lust phase of like, I want to get after I want to get hookup culture. And you never pair bond with the person. So you never really build like a true emotional connection with anybody. And there are so many benefits outside of just like being in love with somebody, like feeling like somebody's like your partner, somebody who like you can trust with everything, somebody who like when you hold them, you feel calmer, like you sleep better. It's like that's just a life that I want. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like I see so many more positives being in a relationship than not. I mean, and then if you look at stats, like men also live longer in relationships. Men get more benefit out of relationships than women, by the way.
Ano ba?
So men statistically live longer when they're in a relationship than when they're not. And also, if you think about, I've always just thought about life when I'm single versus when I'm in a relationship. And when I'm in a relationship, I do less dumb shit. Like I don't party as much, I don't drink as much, I don't eat as much shitty food, which is usually a result of drinking. So it all kind of like the relationship and being with Gina and not running around and not being like, some fuck boy in Miami, that ties into my personal life goals, which are building a business, creating wealth, having a family. These are important things for me. And I find it hard, and this is me, not everybody, but I find it hard to be as successful and as focused when I'm single.
Yeah.
I truly do.
Yeah.
So besides her being like a really good person and a good
anchor
partner for
in
me,
your life.
yeah, and an anchor in my life, the concept of just being in a relationship creates an environment and a home for me that is more conducive to my success. And for me, achievement and success and business building and just like all the shit that comes with being an entrepreneur, that to me is more important than running around chasing after women. I just enjoy it more. So like, I don't enjoy when I'm in like this chaotic single environment. I'm trying to be a successful entrepreneur, trying to build a successful business. And I'm like going out and drinking and meeting new random people. And you're like letting all these weird little energies and
Extend your energy.
yeah, it's like not conducive. You can do it, of course, but it's not conducive. And actually, funny enough, most of the successful people that I know, truly successful, they may not be with their spouse anymore, but while they were building, they were usually like with somebody. Like you can't have a chaotic home and a chaotic life and give 110% of your energy to a business if that's what you want to do. I think it's very hard. So I think that the more peaceful your home life is, and I think that for me, that equates to having a good partner. I think that that's how you sort of excel as a professional too.
Yeah, I can't say anything about that because I've been with my wife for 15 years.
But I've always been in a
yeah.
long relationship. So Gina, we've been together almost 7 years.
Oh, that's long term.
Yeah, it's long term. It's not short.
So yeah.
But like I mean, I've always been in relationships. I'm not like, I'm just one of those guys that's not good single.
You're not playboy.
No.
Yeah.
I get so bored of meeting new people
Yeah.
because I'm like,
You can do it, dude. Especially in Miami, if you wanted to.
yeah,
right?
but like, I don't enjoy, I have a really high caliber for people that I spend time with.
Okay.
Super high caliber.
Standard. This
Very, very high
is
standard.
part of your personal value.
for sure.
This is your thing.
100%. As should most people,
I
by the
agree
way.
with you.
So just through the act of just dating, I think you just expose yourself to a whole bunch of random people at different stages in their life and different points of view. And like, I'm so into my work. I don't think a lot of women would love how much I work or love how dedicated I am. But Gina's an entrepreneur. So she has her own business. So she gets it. And we do shit together. We'll go to an event. We'll both go on stage and talk. Do like a panel discussion. I'll bring her on stage with me or vice versa. We always create content together. Like, it's just like, there's so many synergies. So it just makes life easy. And I'm a big fan of that too. Like, if life is not easy with your partner, then it's the wrong person. Yeah. Like, if you feel like, oh my God, my life would be so much easier single, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a red flag for sure.
Yeah. That's true.
So I'm just like, life's easier, life's better, like I'm happier. Well, like, why would I want to be running around just in this perpetual state of chaos?
Yeah. It's so funny. You answered my question without me asking a question to you. Padre David talks about this thing that before he met Jen, he had a book. He bought her and both of them, and they had what's the question they answered. And Patrick, someone who brought it to my attention. I've been married for 15 years, like I said, but he kind of reminded me how important if you're an entrepreneur. But look, I'm not here to put the 9-to-5 people, corporate people down at all. But just to be an entrepreneur is a different game.
Yeah.
You don't have a paycheck coming every 2 weeks unless you put beginning of a business, you're not even feeding yourself. You're not even paying yourself. Like it's hard. It's hard. It's a hard game to be in, right?
Mm.
And he talks about it that your running mate, your spouse, you have to have the right person.
Yeah.
You answered the question, but I'm recapping that. Now I have a lot of young audience viewers, a lot of young men who reach out to me and DM me, hey, KB, you could look up to you. And the first question I ask them, like, do you have a person in your life? And if you don't, it's like, get one and become stable with that.
Yeah. I think I'd
You
put
need
that
that.
forward.
You need that. Like,
It's so hard to do that. By the way, I'll give you another added benefit
please.
of having a partner in your life. When you're an entrepreneur, listen, shit happens in a career too, in a 9 to 5.
Course.
When you're an entrepreneur, more shit will happen to you than the average person. More shit will not work out.
Sure.
You'll be stressed about hiring, firing, lawsuit, lost a deal, etc., etc. Nonstop bullshit. Every day is bullshit, right? And it never goes away. It never goes away. I was talking to one guy who plays at a much higher level than me. He has a publicly traded company, and it's a holding company for a whole bunch of subsidiaries. And one of the subsidiaries is a company that creates parts for the Iron Dome in Israel. So he gets death threats all the time. So he has like metal detector, armed guards. Like the point is, there's never a level to this game where it's not stressful. Like he's like, I'm just like a manufacturer of these certain components, but because of what I am associated with, now people want to like kill me. So there's never, ever an end to the stress of an entrepreneur. That being said, having a good partner can really help you zoom out and see the bigger picture and see how good life is. So when something bad happens, there's things that, we can do to sort of mitigate us from spiraling. Like for me, I like to go to the gym. I like to go for a walk, and when I get like bad news or whatever. But part of my mental health routine is Gina saying, hey, it's not that bad. Like, look at how good life is objectively. Like, zoom out. This is a moment in a day. In like the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. But if you're alone with your thoughts too much, and you don't have somebody to pull you out of your own thoughts and change your perspective, I think that's where a single, lonely, unsupported entrepreneur can really run into a lot of mental health issues. And I think it's compounded because for a lot of entrepreneurs, their identity is their business. And when things don't go right, they feel like they are not good enough. So I think that's, and I'm not saying that people can't regulate themselves and optimize their mental health without a spouse. Obviously you can have a good support group, you can have friends,
peers.
But it really fucking helps when you get a bad email and there's somebody 5 feet away that can help you calm down. So yeah, I mean,
Important.
it's very
Crucial.
important. And I think that that's something I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Yeah. Especially living in Miami. Like, I was single here for 5 years before I met my girl, but like it's insane. It's insane. I had no money back in my 20s, but if I had what I have now back then, like, dude, but then again, I'm able to have it because, stability helped me where I am.
I also don't see people it depends on the city. I don't see single people in Miami being super happy.
No.
I don't think Miami's like a great dating scene.
No.
I think it's a great love scene.
It's the worst.
But I think that a lot of guys, because to be in Miami, you have to have some money.
Yeah. No.
So the guys that are single, that choose to be single, they have money because you can't really exist in Miami without it. So I don't know if they want to settle down as much as some other cities. I think that the environment of Miami encourages kind of like hookup culture, partying. I don't know. Like we have like single girl friends, and they have a very hard time dating. Like nobody wants to settle down. I make a joke. I'm like, you got to like import a guy from like the Midwest. Go get somebody from like Ohio or something.
That's a great suggestion.
I think it would be the best
Great,
suggestion.
brilliant.
Somebody who's like, I want to get married. I want to settle down. I want to be successful.
Focus.
Suburb life. Not somebody who's spending like
the
50
bars,
years
the
old,
lights, nightclubs.
going to live,
Yeah.
dropping 30 grand on a table at 55. Like, don't waste your time at that guy. Maybe he's not a bad dude,
No,
but you want
but I
kids?
get it.
You wanna, build a home together.
Right.
I don't think that's the guy.
No, I agree with you. Before I wrap up, as one question I have to ask Scott is daily routine. So for me, daily routine, especially after the stroke, man, I put my life together. I wake up, I do my exercises, mental exercises, all this stuff. Do you have a routine that you could say, KB, this is what I do for your audience? You want to be like Scott Clary one day. This is the routine you should do.
Yeah, but
Mm.
it's less about like most. I'll walk through my day. So gym every morning is non-negotiable.
Love it.
I need to go to the gym. I need to do something physical. I need to do something physical even for a short period of time before I work. It's like very, very important for me. But I don't really care if it's at like 6 in the morning or 9 in the morning, depending, because like some people are better working late, some people are better working early. I just need something physical. I actually, a lot of my routine involves my diet, which is optimized for like my focus and energy. So I actually intermittent fast. I think it's a very big piece of like why I can focus and be so locked in. When I have like a different kind of diet or a diet where I eat nonstop during the day, I always feel like tired and sluggish. And for my work, I have to always be on because both of our jobs require us to sit down with some of the coolest, smartest people on earth who know their shit, who've been doing something for the past 30 years and keep up with them.
Sure.
It's not an easy job.
Not easy.
So I work out, do usually like a pre-workout right before I go to the gym, BCAAs after. Sometimes I'll just do like BCAAs throughout the day. I don't really eat a lot until around 3, 4, 5, and then that would be when I start to eat. Trying to think what else would be part of my routine.
Journal.
I don't journal. I don't journal as much as I should, actually. Most of my, I mean, I subscribe to a few different sort of ideas, like eat the frog, which is doing like the hardest things first thing in the morning when I have the most energy. I do keep every Sunday night. I guess this is more work than journaling, but every Sunday night I will write down like the major things I have to accomplish for every single day during the week. And I always work Sunday night. Like I'll not work, like I'll prep Sunday night. So I know what each day is going to look like. If I don't do that, then my days just go to shit because I always have something on.
Are you a believer of God? You belong to a organized religion?
Yeah, I don't talk about it much.
You mind sharing about it?
We can if you want.
Yeah. What's your perspective on it?
We can if you want. So, I was actually born Catholic, and I think this is probably a more rare story, but I converted to Judaism.
Okay.
Which is, I don't think very popular because most people, Judaism is not a religion that encourages conversion.
Yes, it does not.
At all.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of which sort of branch of the Abrahamic faith that you subscribe to, I am a believer in God. There's personal reasons why I chose Judaism over anything else. But I think the most important thing which is why I want God in my house, is I think it's very bad when people think that they are the center of the universe and there's nothing higher or more powerful than them. And I think that also when you don't have or subscribe to, and I don't subscribe in like a super orthodox way, but I think that when you don't have God in your life, I think that also something else becomes God, which is actually an idea that Patrick Bet-David said once, which I actually absolutely love that idea. So I think what having God in your life does is it stops you from your ego being like the most important thing and you only serving yourself and you serving something that is bigger and better than you. I think it's very important. And the concept of God is irrelevant for this discussion. It's more a concept of whatever you do on this earth, just don't do it just to serve yourself. Do it for someone else. And funny enough, when you do enough stuff for someone else, when you give enough value to the world in whatever way that is for you, you end up becoming quite successful in the meantime. Like if you focus on serving other people and not being selfish, you'll find a way to make whatever amount of money you need to make. Yeah, and I think that also just means that like you have a moral compass that you can follow. I think that's very important as well. I know people can do that without traditional religion, but I think that secularism in society has caused a lot of people to be lost and a lot of people to be aimless and confused. And I'm not saying that organized traditional religion is necessarily the best answer, but I think it's a better answer than what I see a lot of people subscribing to today, which is whether or not it is some pseudoscience or it is money or women or work or something else. Humans crave meaning and they crave community. And I think that there is a lot of toxic replacements for traditional organized religion, which has replaced, because people are proud of being secular and not subscribing to a traditional religion, which in turn, I don't even think they are aware of this. They end up subscribing to something else, which may not be as healthy for them. So that's my...
I love it. I love that. Yeah. So like I shared with you earlier, like I'm Muslim by faith, but I'm not really religious. And being raised by my grandmother, right early on, one blessing she gave to me was taught me that she was really interesting. She's like a hippie from Pakistan. Like she loved, like, it's interesting. India and Pakistan, they had a war. So like most Muslims don't like Hindus for that reason. But she's like, no, like there are good people in from India and in the Hindu. And she very early on told me, like, get into other religions, learn Christianity, learn Judaism. Being Brooklyn, New York, a lot of Jews.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
Brooklyn, New York, for sure. There's like, I think that's like the second largest Jewish
It is.
population in the world. It's not
It is.
Israel.
And and whatever that happened in the Middle East right now is tough and sad. But
Yeah, but that's not religion, though.
that's not religion.
People misinterpret religion.
Yes.
People
and they do.
misinterpret religion and they use it as a way to justify shitty politics
agree.
and shitty actions.
I agree. And yeah. And so I really get into, I enjoy learning other religions. Kabbalah.
I do too as well. I actually really enjoyed it. By the way, what's ironic is there's so many similarities between, I mean, at least Abrahamic religions.
Muslim.
And Judaism. It's like,
It's insane how religion.
in fact, there are more similarities between Islam and Judaism than even Christianity and Judaism, or Christianity and Islam. My God, like half the words
That's very
are like a syllable different.
under with that.
It's so silly. Anyways, whatever.
As a Muslim man, I can marry a Jewish female and a Christian female without them converting.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I don't have my wife.
Is that true?
It's true.
That's so interesting.
No, I don't know if a Muslim female can marry a Jewish or a Christian guy, but as a Muslim man,
Well, it depends on what you subscribe to, too.
Right.
So if you are very Orthodox
yeah,
Jew, then that's not acceptable.
Right.
But if you're more of like a
Right.
reform or a modern interpretation, then, but that's the same. Listen, okay, so last thought on religion.
let's go for it.
The most Orthodox versions of most religions are not great.
They're not great. Hands down. I'll say all of them.
It's
I'm gonna get some trouble from my friends of mine, like, oh, why you bashing Muslims? No, it's not Muslims. I'm just saying overall.
like
To your
super,
point,
super Orthodox.
I'm with you.
super traditional.
I'm with you on that.
Interpreting things that were written that long ago verbatim is a very, very dangerous path. But this is what leads to extremism.
Right. No, you're right. Very well. Scott, what a journey. Where do you think we can find your podcast go? Like, who would it be Elon coming on? Would it be
One day,
Bezos?
hopefully. One day.
You know, God willing. I mean,
Yeah, of course. One day.
it
Why
went
not?
big.
Same on yours. Why not?
Oh, absolutely, but I'm not going for the fucking moon. Oh, I'm not stopping, man.
We're kindred spirits.
Right? Exactly. No, man. Well, listen, can't wait to see what you got coming on.
All those people, and I'll see all those people on your show too. I'm excited to see where your show is going to go, because these are really good conversations. And you're only 2 years. Listen, I'll tell you something.
Please.
I was not having good conversations 2 years in. I'm still trying to figure out my shit.
Okay. Oh,
So
look, you're a senior in my high school. If I'm in high school, I'm a freshman. You're a senior. So I look up to you.
thank
You got amazing work. You know, we many years a good friendship far along here.
Yes.
Scott, where can we find you, man?
The podcast is called Success Story.
You have two
So-
podcasts, by the way.
I do have a second. By the way, not just 2. These are just the 2 that still exist.
Oh,
I've tried so much shit. I like anything I've done, I've tried a million versions of it before I figured out what to work. On YouTube, I have I could pull it up. I'm sure 8,000 or 9,000 videos that I've archived or made private because they haven't worked. I just test shit. I test everything. I don't care. I just ship it.
yeah.
But podcast is called Success Story. The second podcast, which is newer, is called 10-Minute Mindset. And like it sounds, it is short mindset, self-development, personal improvement topics. The Success Story is mostly interview style with some really interesting people. And then all the socials at Scott D. Clary. It's pretty easy to find. And
Your website is nice too, by the way.
thank you, Mayor.
Yeah. I
Thank
send your website to my web developer. I'm like, I want my website to be like this. There's a page you have of yours. It's so cool. You have these pictures of other people. Again, it's authority, man. When we see you with Greg Cardone or anyone else, it shows that it's personal value.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the strategy is brilliant. And why not? And why not show it? You know, and connect more.
People also, you talk about people being, you spoke about people being camera shy and whatever, and just being shy about taking risks. People need to stop being shy about like showing off their accomplishments.
Yeah. That's
Like if you do cool shit, just talk about it. Like don't be scared. Don't be an asshole and be like pretentious. But like if you do cool stuff, you're allowed to show off now, for sure. Especially like with your online resume, which is your website, your brand, your content. And when you go through cool things in life and you talk about them and you tell stories about them, I mean, stories are how people build this parasocial true connection with you. If you just speak without incorporating your lived experience, or create content without incorporating your lived experience, or podcast without talking about the things that happened to me, I could talk these ideas that we spoke about today. These are not new ideas.
No.
Other people can
No.
speak about these ideas.
Sure.
But if I speak about how it impacted me and how I discovered this idea or how it impacted my life, that's my story. That's unique to me. In an age of AI, that's very important. So like lean into your lived experiences, because that will make your resume, your brand, your content like 100x stronger. And it will actually land with some, because humans do communicate via stories, not just with facts. You tap into an emotional center in your brain, right? So lean into the cool shit you've done, because that's what makes you unique, and that's what people want to hear about. Imagine if you did this podcast, you never told anybody you had a stroke.
Yeah. Well, people told me not to say that. Share my story.
Well, but you can even tell how uncomfortable it is for somebody that speaks a lot. Like when you ask them about religion, I don't like talking about religion, and I don't like talking about it because I don't like talking about it. I don't like talking about it because I'm like, oh, how are people going to interpret it, or are they going to? But you know what? I gotta eat my own dog food at the end of the day, and I think that if you've lived something, it's a part of you.
100%.
You got like it's a part of someone else's journey too. And I think you got to bring that into your content. And I don't think that means that, not to go on to a tactical content strategy grant, but I don't think that means that like everything has to be you trauma dumping on the audience, everything good and bad that ever happened to you. But I think that interjecting like true lived experience that showcases like a thing you did or a thing you believe in, I think it's only a benefit. And I say that because some people won't like parts of your life and your story, but it's better to take those people out of the equation right away and really attract with the tribe of people that like resonate with who you are. Those are going to be your biggest fans. And that's why you're not going to be vanilla to those people. There's going to be an edge to you. People don't want to follow vanilla. They want to follow someone with an edge.
Sure.
And I think that's how you do it. You just be you.
Yeah, I get, man. Like yeah, man. Amazing stuff. A lot of content. A lot of good strategies here. My audience watching this here just on Spotify, iHeart. We just wrapped up this amazing podcast with an entrepreneur. We talked about content creation, talk about personal branding. If you're not working on your brand right now, you're snoozing. Get up, get your phone. It's not easy. It's not hard. Look, what's hard, right? So
Everything's hard.
exactly,
Everything we're doing is hard.
and it's worth it. Scott, thank you for jumping on the podcast, man.
Thank you, man.